Hi, I'm so excited to share this next video with you. It is all about fun with facial features. I'm going to use Lucille Ball as my muse, and I will show you how I break down every single one of her features, from her eyes to her lips to her hair, and I'll show you how I exaggerate each feature while still maintaining recognizability. So without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so hair's up. It's time to draw, and what we're going to do first is we're going to translate Lucille's head shape into a bunch of different shapes, and this is going to really help simplify a 3D person into a 2D idea. So I've got my iPad here, and I'm drawing in Procreate. I've already collected a couple of photos of Lucille, and I'm going to add, insert a photo, all photos, bloop. I've made a little collage so that we can see the different angles of her face and really try and understand her anatomy from all different sides. I'm going to draw on top and just tell you what I'm seeing here. With this top right picture, I'm seeing with her forehead, it's a very triangular shape. Right there. And I'm actually, if you hold down your pencil, you can get a straight line in Procreate. So we see this triangular forehead shape. And then look at this beautiful, strong jaw. So just tracing over that, you can kind of see it's very angular. And I'm going to be exaggerating this later, but I just want you to see sort of these facial features and the anatomy that's happening here. So that's what I'm really getting from this picture. When I look at these two pictures, I see this awesome bouffant that's happening. All this hair, and if I'm cartoonizing it, I'm almost turning it into like a little cloud, because that's what it looks like to me. I'm going to really exaggerate that. It's really poofy on top, and then it's really slicked on the sides there. Okay, another thing that I'm seeing now that I'm over here is her eyebrow shape. Her actual natural eyebrow shape is probably here, but it looks like she's painted them on higher so that she can have a wider range of expression. So that's something, if she wants to exaggerate that, we're gonna exaggerate that, and I love it. I'm also seeing here her lips are exaggerated. Her natural lips would probably be something like this, but she is using lip liner and lipstick to really extend it, so you can see she's really widened the outside edges, almost making it kind of a heart shape. You can see what's going on there. Okay, so we've got that. Another thing that I'm seeing is she's got these spider eyelashes every time, and they're like kind of a perfect fringe. She cuts them real straight right there. So I think usually I draw my caricatures with their eyes closed, like I'll do kind of this lash shape. It's one of my signature things, but I can also draw eyes open too. And I think because of these lashes and her wide-eyed expression, I'm probably going to draw her with her eyes open. Isn't this beautiful art? This looks so great. So another thing that I'm seeing is these giant ear accessories, which are great. Super razzly, super dazzly. Sometimes she's even got them in flowers. I really like the outfit that's happening here. I love the matching accessories. It's such a retro thing to do. So that's probably the outfit I will be drawing her in. But we can just sort of see the way that we're breaking down her face into these really, really simple shapes. All right, so we have played with shapes and we've been practicing our different facial features that we're going to draw, and now is the time that we wrap it all up together in a really quick sketch. So let's get back in here. I'm going to open up a new layer. I really, really enjoy using this inking dry ink brush. This already comes with Procreate. You don't have to buy that, which is really great. So click out of that and let's just go ahead and get started. Some people, it really can help to draw kind of a basic circle. And I don't always do this because sometimes it helps me exaggerate the features by not getting hung up in that, but I think it's a good starting point. I'm gonna do sort of this 3/4 view that she's got going here. So, and I really want to include this cheekbone. And I think the 3/4 view is gonna let us really play with that jawline too. So I like to draw my noses in a very simplified way here, like that. Just kind of trying to keep this as loose and quick as I can, heightening these eyebrows, playing with a shorter face here and longer forehead. Just getting that ear in there, and again, we were gonna try and do the eyes open, see how that feels for us. If it feels weird, then we'll make it the classic Designed by Shea lash, but I think that this is gonna really feel good. Heart-shaped lips. bringing that jaw in and kind of erasing where you need to. Not trying to get this perfect, but trying to just get at least something from nothing and something on the page, because in our next step, we will be doing a nicer sketch even than this. Let's see, I actually don't think I want her head tilted that much. I think we're gonna kind of, that way I can play with her neck angle a little bit more and play with her shoulders. I like to draw really elongated skinny necks. That's kind of another thing that I do with my style. It really just helps cartoonize a person even more, because no one's real neck is actually like this. I've still got my uniform scale. I don't want to be playing with the freeform. And kind of do this with my busts. All right, now we're gonna get to play with that big bouffant. I actually need more space in my canvas, so I keep needing to scale it down even more. So this is sort of where that big, giant poof of hair is, and I love it. And then the rest of the hair is combed pretty slickly on her side, and I think that's where her actual head line would go. So we're gonna play with that, even kind of getting our brush angles going on right there. All right, we might do some lacing around here. And again, I'm doing this outfit. I really like that outfit. Okay, oh, that's my pupper. She is barking at the neighbor. And sorry, neighbor, but making a video and we'll be friendly neighbors another time. Okay, so here's a very basic sketch. It's not super pretty yet. Let me add some eyelashes in there really quick, but you can sort of see the beginnings of what is about to happen, and we'll get in a better space in our next sketch when we go over this. And I'm also probably gonna go check on my dog and help my poor neighbors. Okay, so we've got our first really loose sketch down, but we're going to keep sketching because it's important that we get this right before jumping into color, and we'll be doing another video on that. We as in just me. Okay, so I'm gonna keep using the same brush that I was using, but instead of using the light pink peachy color, I'm going to use sort of a dark gray, and I'm going to start a new layer on top so that I don't lose what I've already done. Now, actually, before I do that, I'm gonna kind of tweak a couple of things with this sketch. I don't like the head shape going down like there. I kind of like when it's up a little bit more. She kind of looks a bit more alert that way. So we'll just kind of scooch that over there. Okay, now let's start that sketch. So we're just kind of going over these shapes that we already defined and tightening them up a little bit more, and it's a little bit less sloppy, less line work, so you can kind of actually see what to do. And we will be doing another set of sketching after even this phase where I'm going to get the lines absolutely perfect. I just really like to sketch as much as I can and push the shapes while I can before I get stuck into color, because once you're in color, you don't want to go back and change everything. You kind of want to get it as good as you can for each step. You don't want to rush ahead and potentially do something that you might regret later. So I always have a little bit of trouble figuring out open eyes on a 3/4 view, so bear with me here. Okay, that's creepy. We're not gonna do that. Oh, you can do 2 fingers to undo, by the way, and then I think it's 3 fingers to redo in Procreate. Procreate has all these crazy, awesome, quick gestures. They're not necessarily intuitive, but if you stay on YouTube, you can find lots of videos with folks telling you exactly what these gestures are. Actually, shout out, there's a lady, Holly Pixels, and she has some really great Procreate tutorials, which honestly, the reason I'm not ever really doing a ton of Procreate tutorials is because she has already conquered that land and she's doing a great job. So I'll link her below so you can find her. Okay. Gotta support ladies doing good jobs in the art world. So you got that. We are gonna kind of make this more of a defined flower and figure out our petal situation. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't really like anything to be absolutely perfect, because once you start perfecting one thing, you kind of want to try and get everything perfect, and then it sort of loses its personality. All right, so this is a strand of pearl necklaces happening there, but I don't want to do every single darn pearl. So I'm just gonna give you the basic information that you need to know to understand that those are pearls. And I'm not gonna try and do a ton of perspective here. I still want this flower to be pretty flat. It is 3/4, so these petals here on the right will need to be a tiny bit shorter than these petals, which will be extended. And I think there was another flower too, and I'm gonna probably just make it go right here. I'm just making this up as I go along. I might make these pearls smaller down the road, but we'll see. Okay. Playing with her shoulders. I love the lacy top, and the way that that lace plays with this petal shape I think is really successful. So we are gonna play with that. If we wanted to add a collarbone, we kind of could. Not sure. Okay. I'm hoping that this is exaggerated enough. Once I finish sketching this stuff, I might be scaling things and playing around with my lasso tool. Ugh. Okay, I want to actually shrink this down. That bouffant is so huge that I keep running out of space for it. So I selected both layers by selecting like that. Direct select. Okay. I think we're back on that layer again. Let's get this shape even bigger and poofier. I mean, you gotta play with this. It's so comedic, and she's comedic. I think that's sort of the fun of doing her as this character and really exaggerating. Like, she's already doing a ton of exaggerating herself, and I feel like Lucille wouldn't mind us making just a really silly character out of her, because she kind of did that to herself. She didn't take herself too seriously. So just when you thought we were done with sketching, we're not. We're actually going to move into inking, where I will be tracing over the loose, darker sketch and making it as perfect as I can so that when we move into color, everything will be just so. All right, so I'm going to my layer and I'm gonna tap with 2 fingers to reduce the opacity because I'm gonna be tracing on top of that. So we're bringing it real low. All right, new layer, and let's just start. I like to angle my paper a little bit. It's the same way that I would if I was drawing analog with a regular pen or pencil and paper. And I'm really focusing on getting these lines just as good as I can. Oh, by the way, the brush that I'm using is On the Mark Folksy Florals. I love this smoother liner brush, and I will link this below. And there are tricks that you can do. I'm going to show you. If you want a perfect curve, you can just make a circle and hold it, and it'll snap to that shape. Same with the square. It snaps to a perfect shape. I think this is a really powerful tool, but with great power comes great responsibility. I try not to lean on that. I'm trying to draw the way that my hand naturally draws, because it's my personality. It's my line work. It's not a computer generated program doing it for me. But of course you can use those things and really help. If that helps your work, that's great. Just don't get too dependent on it, I would say. There is definitely a balance to be struck there. Okay, this is seriously such a funky angle to try and figure out drawing eyes. I've always struggled with that, and I'm gonna kind of erase that again. It's going down a little bit too far based on her other eye. That is starting to feel a little bit better. Oh, by the way, I like my eraser to be the exact same brush as my regular brush. Okay. And again, we're going to keep this iris open. It's not going to be touching the top or the bottom. It has that really surprise, like, even though technically it's touching it there, we're trying to extend beyond that and really cartoonize this. I think it will, because this eye is on an angle, it will touch a little bit there so the eyes are looking at the same direction. Let's figure out this heart-shaped mouth. She's got a very plump upper lip. I'm gonna really try and get us that heart shape while still doing it on an angle, which is sort of a weird ask, but we're going for it. Okay, and these eyelashes, I was thinking about it. One of the reasons I think I love her makeup so much is because technically long eyelashes are a really glamorous thing, but the fact that she has them all cut straight and the exact same length, it makes it look like they're fake eyelashes, and I think that's a comedic effect that she's doing. She looks glamorous, but she also looks kind of silly at the same time. It's a really cool balance that she's struck. I love it. I love Lucy, I guess I could say. Okay. I think we can start taking in a couple. We want them a little bit shorter, going in closer to the eye. And let's play with a kind of a bottom lash situation. Also, I'm putting a little bit more pressure towards the top so that it becomes a more triangular shape lash and it tapers into a thinner line there. And I might not include these lashes in full color, but we'll just see. Okay. Let's play with this ear. I used the edit shape tool on that. Same with, I think, this circular shape. I can't draw a perfect circle, and I don't know who can, except for, was it Raphael or something who could draw the idea of like a genius painter, like being able to draw a perfect circle. I don't know what I'm talking about. Talking and drawing is definitely a huge challenge for me. Talking is already a big challenge for me, so this is probably really entertaining for y'all, listening to me try and multitask while I'm drawing. Okay, got that. Let's play with this eyebrow arch. I'm also gonna use the quick shape tool there. I feel like I just used it a lot. Whoops. Okay. If I can go a little bit faster with these swirlies, I think I'll get a better gesture. Okay, we almost got that. That's so close. Don't love it. I'm gonna do it on a different layer. I'm just trying to go faster because then I'll get a looser, smoother shape, because drawing digitally, sometimes things get clunky along the way. When you go slower, it just helps to draw faster sometimes. All right, now I'm gonna just start drawing this really elongated neck. I love drawing the necks like this because it also helps you realize this is clearly a cartoon. Nobody's neck is like that. It's a nice way to separate from somebody looking exactly how they are versus a really hyper stylized version of them. And I really like to try and keep all these sort of S curves going on. It just compositionally really helps tie the piece together. And I'm getting really excited too about, I'm seeing all these curves happening here in the hair, in the petals, in this lace here, and then even in the necklace. It's all playing together visually very nicely. Ooh, low battery. All right, you guys, let's push through. Let's get this one done. All right, we're gonna add a little bit of a cleavage line, because that's fun. Okay, let's get this flat where it's a little bit in perspective. Ooh, we don't want that. We don't want the tangents. We don't want the lines to be touching each other. This I'm just gonna kind of roughly put this in here, and I might redo this little flower necklace a little bit later. And actually I might go to another layer so that I don't have to erase everything. I'm gonna draw another flower tinier. I know in the actual picture, the flowers are on top of each other, but I know that when I am going to be adding color, these colors are the exact same for the flowers, and I don't have any lines that will be separating my colors. So I need to actually separate these flowers physically so that will work more successfully in color. So trying to think ahead just a little bit on that. And then I think I want these pearls to be maybe in a more curved fashion. I'm trying to decide if I know it's like a three or four strands of pearls there, but I don't want to include all that information. I just want to include the basic information that you need to know to see it's pearls, so they're not even touching each other. They're a little bit spaced apart and they're not perfect. I don't want them to be perfect, but once we add white to them and we throw in some sparkles, people are gonna know that that's a pearl. I actually might kind of change the angle on it like there, and I think I can actually deal with that section once I move into color. Let me just add some of these hairlines so that you understand the direction of the hair. Erase this little doohickey. Oh, that's right, I'm on a different layer. Always forget. So you may have been wondering why we did 3 different types of sketching. We did the very loose light pink gestural sketch, then we kind of traced over that, and then we did inking on top of that. And the reason is, once we move into color, we don't have the ability to make as many changes. And you really want to keep the life and the personality and the energy that you had in these sketches. You want that to translate into color. And I really just like to play with shapes and push things as much as I can and have as much fun as I can from the beginning. It's really going to translate into your drawing and make it even stronger when we add that red hair to I Love Lucy. And that's it! I hope that this video has encouraged you to draw a character of your own, and if you do, please tag me on Instagram at Designed by Shea. I would love to see what you make. If you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel, and if there's something that you want to learn about, comment below and let me know. Stay sparkly!